Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. So Tottenham Hotspur have just beaten Manchester City 3-2 at the Etihad Stadium. We are all smiling here on this channel at the moment. A goal and assist from Dejan Kulusevski, 2 assists from Heung-min Son, a brace from Harry Kane, a world-class performance from Harry Kane, Hugo with a world-class save in the second half. We're now 4 points away from the top 4 with 2 games in hand. What a game, what an evening, what a result. I'm joined by 3 very special guests. Let's introduce them first of all. Paul Coy, award-winning radio presenter, hosted shows on the likes of Capital Gold, Virgin Radio, BBC London, Kiss FM, Sky News, and now TalkSport Radio, and of course, Compare at Spurs, interviewing many Spurs legends. Paul, welcome to the channel. How are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for asking me, Chris. You know what? I know you chose the right game for me because you knew, and we all knew we were going to win easily today. So thank you for choosing me for an easy game. I appreciate that.
Well, it's so funny. Let's introduce the next guest. Kimberly Chambers, of course, best-selling author, Sunday Times best-selling author, latest book, The Family Man. Now, Kimberly, I messaged you the last days of Nuno, and you said, Chris, I'm going to sound like Catherine Tate's nan on the show. Let's wait until I get my football mojo back. Of course, we'd lost 3 games in the Premier League, Manchester City away. Here we are, and now we're talking about a win. Kimberly, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I'm your lucky charm, Chris, I think.
I think you are.
No, I mean,
it's me. I'm the lucky charm. It was
no,
me.
Paul, no, it's definitely me.
Okay.
You've been on here before, I take it.
No, debut. It's my debut. It is. It's my debut.
Oh, it's your debut.
For Paul and Kimberly?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have the joint lucky charm thing together.
I think that's what it is. You got a deal there. You got a deal.
And of course, we've got Darren Hart as well, actor. Darren, tell us all about your latest film, Pirates. Tell us about your role in this film, and how are you?
I am buzzing, my friend. I am buzzing. I am feeling good, just like the movie Pirates. It's a good feel-good movie. Absolutely worth a watch. After this is the next best thing. If you can't go out and party and celebrate Tottenham's win, watch that movie, Old School Garage, rave it out, and listen to me MC. It's a dream. Come on, you Spurs.
Paul, let's come to you. Now, Manchester City 2, Tottenham Hotspur 3.
Yeah.
Simple question for you. What did you make of today's game?
I thought it was all right. That's all I got to say, really. That was all right. I didn't get overexcited. I tell you what, there's the thing, and I've been saying this for as long as I've been a Spurs fan, is that there's something about this football club, and other people, I'm sure other clubs don't get it the way that we get it. But you know what? Just when you think everything's down, just when you think, you know what, I've given up and the fire's gone out, they go and do something like that. It works both ways. Trust me, it works both ways. We know what it's like being a Spurs fan. But when they do something like that, just when you think that fire's dimming, and every fan goes through it, and I go through it as well, and all the years I've been with the club, and you just think, you know what, I'm just not feeling it anymore. I'm watching these games, and maybe I'm not even bothered about seeing it. Then they do something like that, and you go absolutely bananas. I didn't make it. I know you were at the game, but I was jumping around the kitchen. I'm still red and still shaking from the second one going in, let alone the third one. So it was terrific. I mean, it was just the tonic we needed, and I'm so happy. And up the Spurs. That's all I can say. It was long time coming, but they save it for these games, and that's why we love them. That's what it's all about.
I take it, Paul, it's fair to say you weren't expecting this result.
Yes, I was. I actually thought, I was, and I thought we'd win 4-1. So I was a little disappointed by it, Chris, to be honest with you. But listen, let's be honest. Who truly thought that after 3 losses, and especially the way we played against Wolves last week, that we go over and turn Man City? I mean, probably Antonio Conte did, but even the most diehard fans that all 4 of us are didn't expect that, did we? I don't think so.
No, I don't think any of us did. Kim, let's come to you. What did you make of tonight's match?
I'm still buzzing, honestly. I can't believe it. It's like, after the Leicester game, I had that feeling, obviously, with them 2 late goals. And with the same, I don't know, from the start, I thought we looked good. I thought we was good on the counter-attack. And even though City obviously had a lot of possession and everything, they didn't really do that much with it. I wouldn't say, their finishing weren't good. And, we didn't really look in trouble. Obviously, there was the mistake in the first half, which led to their goal. But, they had possession, but I still thought the way we was breaking, that every time we went forward, we could score a goal. You know, it just looked like. And I did actually have a bet on us to win, both teams to score, only a fiver. But I think we were 12-1, so that's in me William Hill account. That's all right.
Well, they're my channel sponsors, so glad you mentioned William Hill. Kimberly, as an author yourself, I tell you what, I've said to this to our mutual good friend Anthony Costa many times. Spurs. The way that Spurs do things. If you, as an author, wrote a book, about some of our situations to do with Spurs, I'm sure your publisher would say it's a bit far-fetched, isn't it?
Of course they would. Of course they would. I mean, it's just, it takes you back to like that Ajax game. It's just weird these late. Listen, if we can't kick on from this, we ain't going to kick on from nothing in this season. But it would be typical Spurs. We go to Burnley now and we lose. That would be us to a T, wouldn't it?
Oh no, let's not go there. Certainly not only 6 minutes in. Come on, give it a little while. Give it a little while. We'll talk about the Burnley game at the end. Darren, let's come to you. Your thoughts on tonight's match?
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I think there were so many positives to take out of the game in terms of performances, in terms of the attitude, in terms of Conte. I know a lot of people over the last few games have been questioning Conte tactically, the sides he selected, the formations he played. Everything today, you could see what he was trying to do. You could see the players understood what they was trying to do. It all just clicked. Yes, we rode luck at times, and Lloris had that horrendous mistake, which I'm sure we're going to analyse later. But what we showed, made Tottenham. That's why we love Spurs. Like when we're Spurs fans, we go through rough and the smooth. But when we get the smooth, it's smooth. Today is smooth. We're all going to have our chest high. Sunday's a beautiful day. We're all going to be wearing the colours as much as we can. We're walking around. It's beautiful today. My phone's quiet right now. No one wants to talk to me. That's why I'm here talking to you guys.
Funny, isn't it?
Darren, it kind of feels like the old Pochettino days when we used to literally go to the death and get so many late winners and equalisers. It feels a bit like that again, doesn't it?
It does, with a different edge. And that's what I was enjoying today. There was a different edge about it, because when it's Pochettino, I felt that it was passion. Sometimes it was just purely getting us through. Today, I could see the method. I could see the game plan. Even when the substitutions were coming on, I could see the messages being relayed. There was information being passed. The boys were all cohesive with a plan. It wasn't just our heart. We're going to play for the shirt and we're going to get through with Poch's passion. Today, this was the mixture of that old passion that we've lost, but also there was a bit of that being used today, and I was impressed. Even Højbjerg's tactical little trip up on the halfway line, it was like, I know what I'm doing here. This is Conte's way. Let's stop the play. Let's regroup. That was exciting me. I could see a merger of two timelines, which was making me very happy, very, very happy.
Paul, let's come to you. Let's talk about the Tottenham Hotspur starting 11. Of course, Antonio Conte made 4 changes. Yeah. Kulusevski, Dyer, Emerson Royal and Højbjerg coming in. So the team was Hugo Lloris in goal, back 3 of Romero, Dyer, Davis, fullbacks, Emerson Royal, Sessegnon in midfield, Højbjerg and Bentancur, the forward 3 of Kulusevski, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane. Pleased with that starting 11?
Yeah, I was actually. I think Dyer's a funny one, isn't he? And he's one of these players that people have loved him, and then we've hated him for a while, and then we've loved him again. And I think it's made a difference, the fact that he'd been injured, and I thought he was really good today. And putting him in the middle there, I thought was with Romero, I thought really worked well together, and I thought they looked very good together. We've been shaky. I mean, just look at what happened the other day, and we just haven't looked comfortable. I thought he played very well. What about Højbjerg? You know what? And I'll be completely honest with you. The jury's still out. And it is, and I mean that I'm probably being generous as far as Højbjerg is concerned. I've never been the biggest Højbjerg fan. I thought he played okay today. I thought Bentancur, I think he's going to start working very well in the Premier League. I think that might take, and I thought Kulusevski, I thought had a good game. But I know we talk about changes, but, we haven't even mentioned Harry Kane yet. And Harry was absolutely out of this world. I mean, disappointed me I don't know whether you saw the interview, Chris, because you're probably coming out the ground. But straight away, it probably took Sky about 2 minutes to be able to ask him, so did this performance make a difference because of the talk about Manchester City and that made you play the way you did? He was, that's all nonsense. I thought he was absolutely magnificent. And there was a point where I'm thinking, if only he was the one that was getting on the end of the balls that he was putting through, because everything he did was fantastic, and he showed what class he is. So no, I was very happy indeed. And you know, looking at that now, you know, there's basis of a good side, and I think these new signings are going to work out okay as well. I'm very hopeful.
Kim, same question to you. Are you happy with the starting 11? And be honest, were you expecting the win this evening?
No, I mean, when I saw when I saw the defence, really, you know, I thought, like, you know, I mean, obviously, but I thought Romero and Dyer had a fantastic game, but it was more the two fullbacks like that are worrying for me. But I thought the two new players played really well. You know, I just thought, I don't know. I mean, in the first half, I think Bentancur was you know, a little bit quiet, but in the second half he came good. I thought the young lad up front, I thought he was brilliant. And considering like they've just come over, they've been thrown into the sort of hot seat, really, haven't they? But I thought there were some good performances out there all round today, if I'm honest. You know, I thought Sonny looked a bit more like his old self. Yep. Obviously, Kane was sublime. You know, there was no. Everything he did today was quality. It was pure gold. And I actually, you know, Paul said about Holberg, I thought he had a great game today. I thought he gave everything for the shirt. You know, even right at the end there, he was still throwing tackles in injury time. You know, I thought he did really well today. I mean, you know, there wasn't that many. Even Royale, I thought did okay today. You know, I know he's had a lot of criticism, but I thought he, especially defensively in some, but I thought he did okay.
Let's come to you, stay with you, Kim. Simon writes on the screen now, football can rip your heart out, chew it up and spit it out. When you least expect it, it reminds you why you love this game. Of course, the mood has been extremely low these last few weeks, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm buzzing tonight. Like, you know, I couldn't believe at the end when we went up there and I just couldn't believe it. You know, one of them moments where you just, even the cat leapt off the sofa. He must have wondered what the hell I was doing. You know, he ran out the room, the cat. No, it was just
my wife ran out of the room. Blimey, it was nothing compared to what I had to put out.
It was like that Leicester game. I mean, you know, less hope. I think you hit a point there, Chris, when you said about. It's like going back to that time when we did have Poch and we had them late goals, and there is a little bit of that feeling again where we're not giving up. I know obviously we've had a couple of disappointing results, but I just hope like this is the kick on we need now, because that fourth place is there for the taking, and you know, it's like nobody wants it really, isn't it? Do you know, with some of the results coming in. And I think, you know, if, you know, obviously I'm saying if we continue in the same vein, you know, it might be a bit more difficult to lift yourself. I don't know what we do wrong sometimes against sort of not smaller clubs. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you know where I'm coming from. You know, we should be sort of beating some of the teams we're not. But I think everybody going for that top four, really. I know Arsenal have put a little bit of a run together, but like, they're all coming back with these results. I mean, you know, West Ham only drew today, and you know, it really is there for the taking, I think. And you know, I think we've got 3 games coming up. Like, obviously, we've got Burnley away, we've got Leeds, and I know we've got the cup game. Then I think we've got Everton at home. If we can get a result in them, you know, 4 games, like. I'd expect to take 9 points from. I'd want to take, especially after today, 9 points from them 3 games. And go through the next round of the cup. I mean, you know, that should be the kick on we need now. There's fingers crossed. That's all I can say. But I was so proud of the lads today. I thought they did, and it can't be easy for them coming out. A lot of them are getting stick coming out after the results we've had to come out and play like. I'll tell you what else that I thought they didn't look frightened today.
Yeah,
even from the beginning. On the break, they always, I know City had all the possession, but they looked like every time they went forward to me, there was a chance of them scoring.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Kim, I've got to say, Kim, I love that, because it's, you're such a Spurs fan, because we get down in the dumps and we think it's over, and then we'll win that game, and then we're thinking we're going to win the next 3, and then we got the FA Cup coming up. But that's what it's all about. I love that. We're all the same.
Well, that's Spurs for you, isn't it?
I mean, it is.
What it does. It's the hope that kills you, Paul.
It is. What's happening? Is there an embarrassed silence all of a sudden?
Sorry, my signal just completely went there. Sorry about that.
That's
Darren,
all right, Chris. We'll put this on you. We'll put this on you. We were relaxed here. We weren't feeling uncomfortable in the silence at all.
Darren's gone as well.
Oh, God.
Paul, let's talk about Tottenham's first goal. Of course, after 4 minutes, Harry Kane on the halfway line got the pass from Ben Davies. Wonderful pass to Heung-min Son, who ran, squared it to Kulusevski, tapped home. Harry Kane said, "I have to give credit to the gaffer for this. We worked on this all week, how we could hurt them."
But I mean, that shows something, because that, to me, I thought that was a purely instinctive goal. The way he took the ball, it was almost like a reverse and then hit it down. Sonny ran on with it, crossed the ball over, and Kulusevski knocked it in. So to show that that was something they've worked on, now this shows that this manager's got chops, and it absolutely worked. And he knew that that was going to happen. I thought it was fantastic. The ball was unbelievable. I tell you what was interesting, and I don't know whether anybody would agree with this, is that, do you think that if it was 6 months ago, Sonny would have passed it, or would Sonny have actually had the shot? I mean, it was the right thing to do, was to pass it. But I often would have thought that Sonny, being in the position he was in, he would have had a pop at that and shot. Agree. And I did think for a moment, oh my God, because I didn't want the confidence to go. It was absolutely the right thing to do. Kulusevski put it in beautifully first time. It was a fantastic goal. But I just wonder whether Sonny did have a second thought as he ran in on goal, or whether that was the whole thing was something they worked on, that someone else would run in and then Sonny would pass it. But, whatever. I couldn't care less, because it was a fantastic goal. So early as well. Brilliant. And we were all worried that it was too early as well, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah. I hardly celebrated, to be honest, Paul. Worried.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. Kim, let's come to you. Heung-min Son, he always seems to produce the goods against Manchester City. What is about Man City that Heung-min Son just, always delivers?
Was it me you're coming to? Sorry, I didn't hear cut out a bit. Yeah. I'll tell you something. Something Paul just said, I felt exactly the same when that first goal when he passed it. I thought, oh no, and I thought as well the confidence had gone with him. And when he sort of put it across, I thought literally the pass was going to go nowhere. But as you said, it was the right thing to do. And I think after that, it gave Sonny a bit of confidence as well, really. 2 assists today. You can't. I don't know. Well, we're obviously now. This is the most Spursy thing ever. Only us could be City's bogey team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't they, really? Anyone else in the world wouldn't be City's bogey. That is Spurs for you.
It's incredible.
How many out the last 5? We've beaten them, 4 out the last 5 now, is it? Or is it 3 out the last 4?
They've only lost 3 Premier League games all season, 2 to Tottenham. It's incredible. It's really isn't it?
But I think the last 4 or 5 times we've played them now, we've beaten 3 or 4 out of 5 now, is it?
Yeah, I think the majority of those were at home, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it started, I think, with obviously, I remember going back to the cup final, the Ricky Villa goal and that, but it started, I think, with that Peter Crouch winner. I remember watching it. I didn't go to the game. I was in the Billy Nick over Spurs. And I remember, we played well that night and we deserved that victory. And I think it started then, really, the little curse we got. But only us could have a curse over City. That is Spurs for you. But as Paul said as well, I didn't realise they'd worked on that, that goal and, the build-up to it. And that is the Conte effect for you. That is, And I'm really impressed, as I said before, today, because it's, obviously you see bits of them when they come on as subs and whatever. But I thought those 2 new signings, they're going to become, they're worthy signings for once. I mean, obviously some of our signings in the past, Christ knows who picked them. But I do. I'm impressed with them. Listen, we need a couple of players to be able to come in this side. Even that last goal with the cross and everything that came in, it just, we perhaps these will bring a little bit of oomph to us as well, like to have 2 new players in. I think that's where we went wrong in the past. Obviously, we know we did when Potts was there. There's no good point going back over that. But, to not freshen it up.
Darren, let's come to you.
What Conte was saying in the week, obviously we've got rid of 4 important players, but there was, to me, Ndombele, I doubt he was the greatest joy of being in the dressing room with. It was clear to me he didn't want to be at the club. You know, and Delhi, obviously, you know, I wish Delhi all the best. He was fantastic for us and everything, but it is time for a new challenge for him. And you know, fresh legs, fresh people, fresh minds, and you know, it's all good for the rest of the season. And we've still got a lot of games left.
Yeah, well, we've got to move on from those sorts of players on Dombele and Dele Alli, definitely. Darren, let's come to you. Let's talk about Harry Kane's ball for Heung-min Son, and then of course Heung-min Son squared it to Kulusevski to make it 1-0. Harry Kane probably had one of the best games I've ever seen play in a Spurs shirt.
Absolutely, he was tremendous, and also you see what they've been working together. It's the Son and Kane link up was back into connection again. They were feeding off each other beautifully, but also there was a new dimension up front, and it's our big Swede. And he's going to bring a new dynamic to that front line. I know people speak about he's not the fastest. He doesn't look like he's going to beat a man for pace, but he gives us a different dimension. He holds the ball up as well. He's good at taking on a man. He also finds a pass as well. And I think it was great to see as the game wore on that he was still involved in it. And we saw what he can do. He did a bit of magic and happy days. And with the goal, I think we all had the same thought with Son passing it. And it's funny because when I watched the replay, I was like, wow, Sonny, you left him a lot to do. You gave him a lot. That was one that he could have missed. The defender was right there in front of him. And it's like, how are you going to beat him? And he took it beautifully. And I was worried. I was like, has Son lost his edge there? Did he pass it? Did he pass the buck? But when I looked at it, that's confidence in your fellow player. That's going, it's a bit tight for me. I believe you're going to do a better job than me. Put it away. Get your first goal. Happy day. Let's boost everyone. And Son is also that guy as well. He is Mr. Team. He's also Mr. Tottenham. And I think that's something that has really come about with the new nucleus that we have. I know everyone talked about Conte's interview recently, what they said in Italy. It was taken a little bit out of context. I have seen the whole thing. And he's highlighting that we needed to change. And it's going to be a process. It is a process. And today, for me, that starting 11 was the closest to what I feel was Conte's, in his head, his best 11. Because I think once Reguilon comes in there, that will be what he's got available. I think that's the best 11 he can start with. But also, if you look at our bench, suddenly I was excited. You look at our bench and we had Lucas Moura on the bench. That's energy. That's drive. You've got people like Skip to come on the bench. You've got players that are going to come on, roll their sleeves up and get involved in a game. And I think that's what we've missed. Our bench has been dreadful for a while. And I think as a manager, it gives you very little to look at. But today, with Kane firing like that, with everyone's movement around him. And I think when we talk about City, they're a great side. Let's not dispute that. However, let's also look at what Spurs do to City. They can't play the way City like to play when we do what we did today. We were very solid. We kept ourselves very narrow. We kept the spaces in between our lines very tight. And I think that's where Højbjerg gets a big nod for me today. Because when you think about a Kevin De Bruyne, a player who works in those little pockets, they were non-existent today. We dropped so deep and gave him nowhere to slot those passes in. And that was the real training ground routine. You don't just turn up and do that. That's a training ground routine. And then the runners off Kane. That's what we had today. Always looking for runners. Romero was flying down their early doors, giving him a pass option. And that was what we needed to do today, to take the pressure off us, but also to get the goal. And we did. Spurs today did themselves proud. You can hear the voice, can't you? You can hear the voice. You can hear the little tingles. I had fun today. I had fun.
I couldn't understand that when I saw Pirates there, Darren, your voice is like this. And I know why. That's why it's too much Spurs doing it to you again, isn't it?
That's what Spurs do to me. They just ruin me. They just wipe. That's why I got the big litre bottle. I'm right here.
There you go.
Paul, what did you make of Emerson Royale today? Because he has come in for a lot of criticism from the start of the season, in particular the last couple of months. But you know, in the first 20 minutes or so, Harry Kane was spraying balls out to him. He had an awful lot of space in the game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did have a lot of space. I mean, but the thing is that they were, you know, Man City were hitting him. I mean, there's no question about that. They knew where they were going to target. Now, how do I feel about it? I thought he was okay today. I'm not going to say, oh, wow, the guy was amazing, because I don't think he was amazing. And I haven't seen him. Again, I said the jury's still out. Certainly with him, I'm not I've seen a lot of Spurs fans that are very upset of anybody that criticises him, saying, you know, he's only just come in. You've got to give him time. You know, he's going to be. I think that maybe some of us were seduced by the fact that he's Brazilian and came from Barcelona, and automatically think that this guy's going to be a world beater. Which, let's face it, he isn't. Maybe he will. Maybe, and if Conte's got faith in him, then hell, I'll have faith in him as well. It's early days in his career. I'm being as subtle as I possibly can. I thought he did okay today. Let's say he certainly didn't disgrace himself at all.
Do you think that Antonio Conte...
a bit rotten? Am I being a bit rotten there?
But I was just going to ask.
I feel as if I'm being a bit harsh.
Do you think that Antonio Conte can get the best out of players like him?
Yes, I absolutely do, and I think Antonio Conte is by far the best manager that we could possibly have. And this is why when we see things a week ago or we hear stories and, you know, and trust me, however close to the club I've been over the years, all this sort of stuff, I hear the same as everybody else. And I know that people that are even within the club hear this. You know, you just hear rumours from outside. You read what you read in the papers. And there was a worry because this is a guy that we absolutely have to hang on to. And if we're going to do anything, I think it's going to be with Antonio Conte, because if we don't, then we're going to make even more steps backwards. And then how we're going to recover from that, I don't know. But I really do honestly think, though, Chris, I think this is a turning point. There's there's going to be two. There's this one, and then there's going to be Burnley. Because if you play during the week, that old thing about, you know, playing up north and it's going to be a cold night in midweek and all that stuff, if we can manage something there, then I think we can be onto something. But we need to be on our game in that next one as well.
Kim, let's come to you. Same sort of question, really. Antonio Conte, what are your feelings on Antonio Conte? Because, of course, we all love results like this. But the last 3 games... of course, all the stuff in the media as well. Do you think Antonio Conte will be successful at Spurs?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I still can't believe I wake up some mornings and still can't believe he's our manager, if I'm honest. You know, it was, I mean, to come in at the time he did, and obviously after us going with Nuno first and everything, I think we struck gold with him. And today, as we said earlier, if they've been sort of training these moves and the breakout moves that they did today, you know, what a performance, really. If that was done on the training pitch during the week of the way we should play, you know, he deserves a medal for that alone. But it's hard to say with Spurs, isn't it? Like because I'd love to see him be a success with us, but it's what backing he gets. We go back to the old question over and over again. I'll get sick of these transfer windows, and I'll get sick of us leaving the business to the last day. I just wish we'd sort of, even if you've got to pay a tiny bit more, get these players in that we want. Don't leave it till the death. We do it every single time. We don't seem to learn by our mistakes. You know, if we'd have that winger that Liverpool ended up copping up with, if we'd have sort of gone in, it was almost signed, sealed, done. If we'd have got just got him a little bit before and not tried to wait to the last day to get him for £1 million less or whatever we was trying to do, you know, they wouldn't have got him. Like, we seem to leave, and if we do them tactics with Conte and that, I think he's going to become really frustrated with us, Chris, if I'm honest. And, you know, it all depends as well, I think, where we finish. Top 4, I mean, will he stay there if we don't finish top 4? I don't know. Perhaps he's up for a challenge for once. Who knows? But there's not many, you know, managers that sort of work well with Levy, is there? Let's be perfectly honest.
Darren, let's come to you. Of course, Manchester City had a lot of chances between us scoring the first goal and then them equalising in the 33rd minute. Gundogan equalised, Sterling cross, Hugo spilled it. A terrible mistake from Hugo Lloris again, particularly after the 2 mistakes against Wolves. What did you make of that goal?
It was one of those, it's Spurs, one of those moments. It felt like, here we go again. We've had the early goal. We've been holding them off. They've been banging against the door. Then rather than doing something wonderful to get in, we just gift it to them. We just hand it to them on a plate. And it felt like that was going to be the moment. The result was going to go, and it was going to be 3-1, and we was going to all fall apart. And most of us would have been on this here going, oh, why am I here? Why did you do this to me, Chris? Leave me alone. It felt like that's what we were heading towards. That's what I felt. Then it was that moment where we all thought, the door's going to get smashed open now, and all the hard work that we thought we were doing were just going to fall apart, especially after the games we had just been through, the last 2 games. So I'm glad it didn't end that way.
Yeah. Paul, let's talk about Tottenham's second goal, 59th minute. Kane to Son, Sessegnon to Son, and then Son to Kane, cross, and then 2-1. Talk us through that goal, because, of course, through, being managed by Jose Mourinho, Jose got the best out of Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. We haven't really seen a lot of that this season. Today's game, it was like watching last season all over again.
It just clicked, didn't it? I mean, it was just one of those. There was always going to be a time when it is going to click, because, there's always the thing about form and class is permanent, and form, all the sayings that have been going around. And with Sonny, I was a little worried about Sonny, but and also I've been saying it for months. I've been saying it for a lot longer than that about other people that were going, oh, Harry Kane earlier on this season. Oh, is that it? No, I mean, the guy is class. And not only that, but look at the way he stroked that ball into the top right-hand corner. It was just beautiful. I mean, it really was. It was just a fantastic goal. I don't know. It just seems so well worked, Chris. This is what it was. We just picked them off. And they knew what they were. There was obviously a game plan there. We can see that now. And the way it was done was just to perfection. And Harry, honestly, we've had games where, and I think even if Harry had a free kick, he would have scored that today. That's how good I thought. That's how good I thought he was today. Honestly, there was nothing he could have missed today. So no, it was just beautiful, absolutely fantastic. And of course, we had go on.
All I kept seeing was the stat that Harry Kane had not scored against Manchester City under the management of Pep Guardiola. How do you think that Manchester City feel about that today with all of the situation last season? And do you think that Harry Kane will now finish his career at Spurs?
Oh, man, that's a question for me, isn't it? I just don't know. They're obviously going to be looking at that. And they all wanted him. It's not. I don't think it's even going to be. I think as far as Man City fans, a lot of Man City fans that I know were really, really wanted Harry to sign. And they're just going to go, well, what can we do? Because he didn't. It's not going to be, well, you turned him down. Look what you missed out on. I think they're just going to put their hands up and go, well, there you go. That's the reason we want him. That's the reason we wanted him. I don't know how Harry feels about the whole situation. Probably loved it. He was asked about it, and how do you feel? You can't really say too much about the fact. Oh, was it because? Does it feel extra sweet because you scored against Manchester City? I think it feels extra sweet because he scored against probably the best team in the country and played them off the park. So that's why he would enjoy it, and that's why I'd enjoyed it as well.
He certainly enjoyed it. Yeah. Kimberly, let's come to you. 64th minute, Tottenham had a fantastic chance to make it 3-1. Kane chance played through by Heung-min Son. Ederson, what a fantastic save. Same question to you. Do you think that Harry Kane will finish his career at Spurs?
I think there's obviously, listen.
Come on, Kim.
A lot of it depends on how this season goes.
Come on, beating around the bush, Kim.
I think a lot of it depends on how this season goes. I think if we do get that full spot, and I think it's there for the taking, as I said earlier on, and obviously we'll be able to attract the type of players we want to now. Do you know what? Harry must be a bit peeved in a way that, City were happy to spend 100 mil or whatever it was on Jack Grealish, yet they wouldn't stump up the money, particularly for him, or more for them, and today proved it, And it's true, isn't it? Let's be honest, if they'd have just stumped up a little bit more, Levy would have probably accepted it. So why should he be, craving to go there now? Yeah, obviously, for the obvious reasons, he's going to win trophies, but it depends where his heart is at the moment, where his nut is. He looks like he's playing well again to me. I just think that, he was superb today. That was one of the best performances I've seen for him for a long, long time. But he's always superb. But it must get frustrating for him, especially with our midfield at the moment. We haven't particularly got that creative midfield that can, that can sort of thread the ball through to him. And today was the best I've seen. I agree with Darren's comments from earlier, saying that was the best 11 that you could sort of put out today, you know, and I'd like to see that those 11 start again, because we look like we can thread a ball through for one. All we need now is a free kick taker.
Kim, can I just say,
honestly, to get that record and beat Greavesy and that, it would be marvellous for him now to stay here. Obviously, he's settled in Essex. You know, his family are all down this way. You know, but I think if we finished in the top 4 this season, and like, you know, we brought in those players, and you know what he deserves to play with. Let's be perfectly honest. He deserves to be in a team with good midfielders. You know, we've never replaced Ericsson. We never replaced Dembele. We've never replaced any of them. He deserves better. And I think if we go down that route, but obviously a lot of it depends on where we finish, I think.
If I can just jump in, I'm really sorry if you don't mind me saying, and I know for a fact that Harry wants to play for Tottenham Hotspur. There's no doubt Spurs are his team, and he wants to play for Spurs, and he wants to play for a succeeding Tottenham Hotspur, which, let's face it, if we were him, we'd do the same thing. Yeah. I think after Mourinho, he believed in Mourinho and he knew what he could do. Then that didn't work out. Then I think there was a worry there. And I know that now Conte is in. He believes that with this manager, Spurs can do things. And if Harry believes that we're on the right track, now he wants to be part of that because Spurs are his team. It's as simple as that. So if we're on the right track and we're going in the right direction, Harry will be part of it as far as I'm concerned.
It's definitely about progression, Paul. Completely with you on that. But what do you think that Tottenham need to do at the end of the season to keep Harry Kane? Before all this saga starts all over again.
Is this me or is this Darren here?
Yeah, I was going to come back to you on that one, Paul. Yeah.
Oh, damn you! I thought I was going to come to the. No.
I'll take it after.
We need. Of course, we need players. Of course, we need more players. We're not anywhere near the finished article. We show what we're capable of, but we can see that there are a gap. I'd love to see us bring a real creative midfielder. This is what all the Spurs teams that I grew up watching were built on. When we look at Glenn and we think of Ozzy and Gazza, and I would love to see a real creative midfielder in the middle there somewhere. So Harry doesn't have to do all that work for himself. We still need. I still think we need more players at the back as well. We need probably 3 or 4 more players. The question is the money going to become available? I think it will be. I really think that once we can prove, well, I think we are. I think we're proving that something is possible. And I mean, it's down to Daniel to be able to give Conte the money to spend it. And I think it will happen. I think we of course we need players. We always need players. Every club will need players, but we do need some to just give us that extra push. And I think then we'll be on the right track again.
Darren, let's come to you. 66th minute, Manchester City had a fantastic chance. Gundogan hit it, top corner. It looked like it was going in the top corner. Hugo Lloris, what a world-class save. Unbelievable save, particularly after his mistake in the Wolves game and, of course, in this game as well. Talk us through Hugo Lloris, because, he's just signed an extension on his contract, staying for another 2 years. I keep talking about trophies, video after video, talking about the lack of trophies. Surely, at some point, this man has got to win something at Tottenham.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think this contract is the one where he's going to do it. Chris, I'm always trying to will a trophy for you, my friend. I'm always trying to will it, and I think that it can be achieved. I really do, and I think just to that last question about what needs to be done to keep Kane, what do we need to do to go forward? It's all about the intention right now. What is the intention? What is the board, the management, and the team? Are we all in the same line, moving in the same direction? And I think you're right, Paul, and Kimberly, you're right. Kane loves Tottenham. He wants to be there, but he wants to win stuff. And right now, we've just secured our goalkeeper, who is a winner. He's a World Cup winner. He knows how to win. We've started to bring in players now with the mentality of winners. Bentancur, our big Swede, they're winners. They've won everything out in Italy. They know how to get across the finish line. You put those players into a squad around Kane, he feels like a winner. These players are going to be pushing the game in a different way. And I honestly feel that if in the summer the business is done correctly, we will have the winning formula, because the manager is there to do that. We've never had the manager in their prime to do that. And I know people go, Poch was there. I love Poch. I love him. But he wasn't the winner. He had the passion. He had everything, but he didn't get the win. We have Conte, who has got the win. He's a manager in his prime who wins regularly. He knows the format. He knows what to do. He's got Kane firing again. He's got Son working again. He's getting the players moving in the way that we want to see. And also what I love about Conte is he's not going to be afraid to say when it's bad. Those last 2 games, they were bad. He wasn't coming out here doing a Mourinho and shooting down individuals or going, it's X, Y's fault, this Y's fault. Conte was being real with us fans. If this is what happens, we ain't getting top 4. It's a million miles away if this continues. But on the training field, he's drilling them. He's pushing them to get the performance we got today. You don't get that performance without the work happening behind closed doors, without him going, I know what we need to do. We need to get this going, that going, that going. And we saw it today. The Burnley game, I know we're not there yet, but just because my head's gone there slightly, Burnley will present a completely different issue for us. They're going to play in a completely different style. City work to our strength. They pat the middle of the park. They're all little ticky-tacky passes, but also they play a very high line. They allow us to break over the top. They're a team that are open for a counter-attack. Burnley are not going to do that. They're going to sit very deep. They're going to ask us to break them down. And that's where a Bentancur, a Kulusevski, a Son, a Kane, in this form, that's what I want to see next. I want to see how, when they've got more time on the ball, how those triangles work, how the movement works. Because we can break down a Burnley without a doubt. But let's do it with style. Let's do it with a performance that says, this is the new Tottenham. This is the intention of how we go forward. And let's go and win something for Chris.
Paul, let's come to you. 73 minutes gone. Harry Kane put the ball in the net. Of course, it got disallowed for VAR. I don't suppose that any of us can complain about that. Kulusevski was clearly offside.
Oh, yeah.
88th minute, it went 2-2. Mahrez put the ball in, via the penalty spot. Romero handball. Correct decision for you?
Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately, as sick as it was, I mean, that was it. How many of us then said, typical Spurs, I can't believe it. It's always going to happen to us. It was unfortunate. It wasn't a deliberate handball. I mean, his hand's up, but of course it was up, and the ball hits the hand. It's those moments of waiting. That's the worst thing, because we had probably about another minute's worth of play, didn't we, on the field before the ball went out, and then everybody's just thinking, oh no. But yeah, it was a penalty. I mean, it was a great penalty. There was no arguing with that. It was a fantastic penalty. So, that was it. I don't really care now. I'd be spitting blood and probably saying there was no way it was a penalty, but I really couldn't care less because of what happened a couple of minutes later. But yeah, it was. So there.
Apart from that,
they got their little consolation to get me excited for a while, which bless them.
Apart from that incident, Paul, what have you made of Christian Romero, the signing of Christian Romero so far? Because it is strange, isn't it, that Eric Dyer's injury, Christian Romero's injury, this was only the second game that they've played together under Antonio Conte. The first one was a 0-0 against Everton, and now, of course, the second one tonight. What have you made of Romero so far? I really, really like him. He doesn't look flappable, does he? He looks so cool. He looks very relaxed. He dealt with everybody. I mean, this was the guy that won the best defender in Serie A, didn't he, last year? Yeah. Which obviously doesn't mean anything when someone comes to Spurs, because we've seen that so many times before. Is the greatest striker that's ever been seen. Is this, is that, is that. So it's like, okay, well, let's see him. But he looks like a class act. And him and Dyer, I'm very, very hopeful. Is it the new Robertson, Paul Miller? This could be it. This is what we've been waiting for all these years. Toby and Jan had a go, but never quite made it to the Miller, to the Maxi and Robbo thing. But no, I seriously though, I think he looks like a class act. And out of the 3 or so that were out there today of the new signings, I think this is going to be the guy. Very, very excited about the way he plays. I think he's great. Kim, tell me what you were doing in the 95th minute when Harry Kane put that ball in the net. Kulusevski cross, Harry Kane header. What a leap. What a goal.
It's the 96th you want to know about, not the 95th. It was after he scored.
Do you want to know the truth? I actually paused it because I was expecting the Man City late winner and I didn't want to watch it. And I went on Twitter and saw that we'd scored because I can't stand the losing part of it anymore. And when I saw everyone screaming, Harry, 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 and I had to go back and watch it. I had to pause it. I do this a lot. I'm not a good football fan.
Kim, how would you feel if someone read one of your books and left the last
chapter? Even when I was younger, big games, when I used to go to Spurs, my mates would tell you, I'd sit there like a knot, right, with my hands in my ears, waiting for the ref, pressing it backwards and forwards to the whistle to blow. Definitely
Darren,
not
how do you
normal, but
celebrate?
I love my team. It just comes with the territory, doesn't it? Do you know? But that's what I was doing. But of course, I went back and thoroughly enjoyed it. But I still kept clicking back on Twitter because there was still a few minutes to go. I thought, don't get too excited, Kimberly. Do you know what I mean? It's all going to end in tears.
Darren, how did you celebrate? Listen, I'm going to tell you this now. I nearly got myself in a lot of trouble. I jumped in my car. When the penalty happened, I got in my car, I put the phone on the dashboard, and I was livid. And I was like, I'm just going to go to the shop. I'm just going to drive. I'm just going to hear the whistle blow as I'm driving. Then suddenly the brake happened. And I was like, I need to park. Swerved up, parked up, celebrated the goal in the car. And literally, as I did that, the police car went past. I was like, God is good. God is good. He saved me. Because I needed to be by myself. I didn't want the moment when City scored and they got the 3-2. I didn't want to be with anyone. I just wanted to be by myself. I'm emotional like that now. What Tottenham's done to me. But when that win happened, I went straight back. Me and my brother, I was like, listen, let's celebrate this. Let's celebrate beautiful. To be fair, like Tottenham, we've got to love them. We've got to love them because moments like today, let's be real, a lot of other clubs, they don't get what we get. They don't get to do what we're doing today. Like, I don't care what happens now. We got tonight. We've had Leicester in this season and we've had City in this season. That's 2 gifts there. That's Christmas twice. And I'll take that as a Spurs fan because I'm wearing the shirt today. It's all like me and Chris look like we've got the uniform on today. We've got the kit. So I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing with it. And I think every Spurs fan watching this now is feeling the same way we are. We're loving our team. We've forgotten the 2 games prior.
Yep.
We've forgot about them. Today, it's all about love. Kane is the best striker in the world. Son is the best player in the world. Hugo is the best goalkeeper in the world. We're in that zone right now. And if we can carry that forward till the end of the season, who knows what we can do? Who knows?
Emerson Royale is the best. He's the best left back in the world. I'm with you 100%.
Don't talk about Cesaro. Don't do it to me. Don't. I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place.
Paul, are you one of these people who gets carried away after a win like this?
Yes, I do. I can't help myself. Yeah, I think it's I've got like a 24-hour thing, Chris. I'm after a bad loss. I can usually get rid of it after a couple of hours, and it's the same with a win as well. I mean, you know what? This got me going. There's a few recent. I mean, of course, Ajax, which is the ultimate top of the tree when it comes to just losing your shit when you've got a game like this. So there was one where I lost probably a couple of minutes of my life, and I don't know what happened. The Man City, obviously there was the Man City before that in the Champions League. Leicester, just a couple of weeks ago, did it to me as well. I mean, I got to be up at 3:00 in the morning, so I was watching that live, and I couldn't sleep till about 2. So that was a nightmare. And this was one of those. And like like we were saying there, Kim said it, and there's just something about this team and well, I mean, it was mainly you said it just now, Darren. It's just other teams I don't think they feel the way we feel, or our relationship with the club is, I don't know. I just think it's different to other clubs. Even all the years that I've been speaking to players on the pitch at halftime, and they'd come back and they'd all say the same thing. And of course you expect, there's a couple of things that players always say. One of them is, the crowd is the 12th man, which you kind of think, oh yeah, is that really, or is it just a little bit of lip service? Which is absolutely true, and they absolutely say it's true. It's nothing like that playing at White Hart Lane at the stadium as well. And the other thing is there is something special about this club. Players play for other football teams, but there always seem to end up Spurs fans at the end of it. And we can't quite put our finger on it. Some of us, I mean, I was born into it. I think probably most of us were. Other people get it for different reasons. But when you're in and you feel it like nothing else. And that's what being a Spurs fan is all about. And sometimes they break your heart, but when they do something great, then it just feels 10 times better than it would than if you just won every week. So that's why we love them.
Oh, I was going to ask, all the years that you've worked at Spurs, all the legends and all the players that you've spoke to, who have been your favourites?
Oh gosh, so hard to say. I think towards the end of White Hart Lane when it closed, we hadn't had Jurgen Klinsmann, and I think that was one that I really, really wanted to meet, and I'd never met Jurgen. And it was another one of those don't meet your heroes because they could let you down, etc. He was just a god, and he was just fantastic, and he was as great as you would imagine. So that was at the game before. I think it was we played Arsenal, didn't we? I think before the Manchester United game, the last one of White Hart Lane, before the finale. So he came to that because he couldn't come to the last one, and he was amazing. Still always Hoddle, who was always my favourite player, never ever let me down. It was always still I'd get a buzz. But I tell you, every single one of them. And even if I think of the first Spurs team that I ever saw, which was way back in like 76, if I ever met any of those that were in that team, it was like one of the worst Spurs teams we had under Terry Neal. And if any of them that was playing like John Pratt, I loved John Pratt when I was a kid, and I would now travel in with John to the games. So it was all those, it's just childhood stuff. And I think that's for most of us. When you meet the players that you love when you were a kid, that still stays there. It's like Big Pat is another one who, when I first started working at Spurs, I was chatting to him. But the thing is, I just lost myself within it because I was thinking, oh my God, I'm talking to Pat Jennings. And then I was thinking, and he's going, talking, and I'm thinking, oh God, I've now forgot. I don't know what he's talking about because I'm now thinking I'm talking about Jennings. I'll just keep nodding. And I was having this conversation with myself because he was such a hero. But every one of them, every single one of them, whenever I meet, they're all still my heroes, and never ever did I ever take it for granted over that like 16 years because they're all great. But if it was number one, it'd still be Glenn for me, which was amazing. And also when we had the double side come out as well, that was a huge thing, at which I ended up in tears. I thought I'd get this classical music playing, bring them out one by one, it'd get the emotions going. And I thought, oh, this will really get the crowd going. I'm looking around at people nodding, and I'm going, I can't now everybody is the wife of, and it was amazing. So it's, you know what, Chris, I couldn't really single out one, but everyone has been amazing. I've met them all.
Can I just ask your opinion on the Amazon documentary for someone who's worked at the club, so closely? What did you make of that?
I think I did make it. I was in it for about 3 seconds, and I think that was very, very disappointing. So that was it. I found it was really interesting. It was really interesting. It's funny. It's like I watched it once and I didn't watch it again. I think there's a lot of people that would probably look back and go, oh, I was waiting. I was so excited about it coming out. It was certainly an eye opener, wasn't it? As far as Mourinho was concerned and what we learned about Delhi and that. And I thought it was very good. And I think it's always great for us fans to be able to see what goes on behind the scenes. There were certain things that we didn't see, obviously, but there was a lot that we did. And no, I really, really did enjoy it.
Kim, let's come to you. Talking about White Hart Lane and old games. What was your first ever game and your favourite memories of White Hart Lane?
Well, going back to what Paul just said, I wasn't born into it. I grew up in Dagenham, which was a typical West Ham area, but all my family were Gooners. My dad was a staunch Gooner, but he'd stopped going to the games when he had me. But my Uncle Cliff and my Uncle John were over Arsenal every week, And I'll never forget, you'll like this story, but it's taking you back to when we eat different food to what we eat now. I was 10 years old when I first got into Spurs, 1970s. It was the year we was in the second division when I became a massive fan. And I'll never forget that game, that last game when we needed the point at Southampton away. It's probably before your time, Chris, to be honest, And I remember watching bits and they hit the post right near the end, And then obviously, 78, we signed Ricky and Ozzy. But I'll never forget, it was that season, it must have been. We had my Uncle Cliff round every Tuesday. He was like steptoe. Like he had this like house where there was car parts in the fridge since his dad died. Since his mum and dad died and his wife died, like he used to put engines in the fridge, did a bit of mechanics. But he came round and I'll never forget, he was a staunch Gooner. And he was sitting there eating his rabbit stew, and I said to him, I'm a Spurs fan, Uncle Cliff. And he was he got that agitated that the tray went up in the air and half the rabbit stew ended up on my mother's carpet. But and it was but I became obsessed with Spurs from that moment on. Old players, obviously that 80s side, I was there at the UEFA Cup final. I was there at the early. I wasn't at the Man City replay because I was only 13. I went to the first one, but my mum said I was too young to go to the replay and to go to a night game. So I watched that indoors with my mum and dad. I was there the following year for the QPR replay. But the UEFA Cup final is one of the best nights of my life. I mean, obviously that cup meant a lot more then than what it does now, you know, because there was the 3 cups at the time, wasn't there? The Cup Winners' Cup and that, and obviously it was the European Cup at the time. But that was just brilliant. That's probably the standout game for me of my life, you know. Because to win a European trophy at that point, and it was a prestigious European trophy at that point, just brilliant. And to do it at the Lane, you know, that Tony Park save, who can forget that? But players that I've met, Chris, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm really good friends with Stevie Perryman. He often texts me, and he's a lovely, lovely man. Do you know what I mean? Him and his wife, Kim, proper people. I met him at Martina Cole's book launch, of all places, believe it or not. She's my mate. And he was there. He met her before, and we chatted all night. And, like, he often texts me now. We swap numbers. And Steve Archibald, I'm very good friends with. And I loved Archibald as a kid. I mean, the old "We'll Take More Care of You," Archibald. I was standing up on the shelf singing that. And, like, he's another good friend of mine, Steve, you know. So it's nice to be, it's, you know, I don't go out to be friends with old players or anything like that. But them two in particular, from the side I sort of grew up watching on the shelf, they're sort of two are classed as my real good friends now.
What about you, Darren? What was your first game?
Oh, my first game was an FA Cup tie, Tottenham Wolves. Me and my dad, we had the Wolves fans literally right there, right at the side of me. And yeah, it was a baptism of fire. And we won the game 1-0. And I remember having Wolves fans topless, giving me abuse the whole way through. And my dad looked at me and goes, "Go on in." And I was in it, and stuff came out my mouth that my mum would never know about. And I left the game buzzing, and it was like, I was that way. And I go, "Dad, I want to go every week. I want to go every week." And of course, not quite there yet. Work keeps me busy. But that was just the golden moment, just being in the stadium, being at White Hart Lane. You smell it. You know what I mean? It's in your veins, it's in your blood, it's in your bones. And yeah, my dad's a massive Spurs fan. And I think the highlight for me was our cup final, the Cowlin Cup final, when we beat Chelsea, the Woodgate goal. And being able to take my dad to that final and letting him know literally 24 hours before, just going, "I've got tickets, we're going." And buzzing, absolutely buzzing to be in the stadium and to watch the Chelsea fans leaving all their flags on the floor as they disappeared as we won. It's a beautiful feeling. But Chris, those days are coming back, my friend. Those days are coming back. I've got a trophy coming.
You've mentioned
Chris,
2000.
can I just go back? I don't think I answered your question properly about the first games.
Yeah, go on, Kim.
First, I'll never forget my first away game. It was West Ham away in 1980 in the League Cup final when David Cross, it was 1-0 and he scored. And I went there with my mum's mate who, they had a caravan, believe it or not. I know it sounds a bit apt now, but like they had a caravan at the time, which was the West Ham shop, Upton Park. And my mum's mate worked in there. And I had to stand with her before the game and she got me a ticket. I was 13 years old, you know, and I remember like it was in the days when you used to have your scarves around your wrist and all that like, you know what I mean? I remember wearing all the old butcher's coats at the cup finals. I mean, that's probably before your time as well, lads, to be honest with you. Not you, Paul, but the other guy.
Yeah, it was actually.
But I remember going to one cup final with Crooks written down a sleeve and Archibald. But no, I went to that game and I'll never forget. It was like
you had a Blanchflower written down your sleeve. Don't lie now, Kim. I know your game.
I don't look that. Oh, come on! I'm doing this fitness thing at the moment. I've not been drinking. I've been on a diet. Come on, give me a bit of credit. But no, seriously, I went to this West Ham and I'll never forget. Like I cried my eyes out, and she took me back to the West Ham shop after. And I had to stand there, like it was in a little caravan in the stadium at the time. I had to stand there with my little Spurs clobber on my little wristband and my scarf and everything. It was a sign of things to come.
Do you know, Kim? The last time we went to West Ham, I took my boy Harry, and he went off and got something to eat, and he come back with a crepe. Whereas normally at the old Upton Park, of course, you'd go and have your pie and mash, traditional pie and mash. And now it's all this crepe and strawberries and chocolate. Very, very different at the new stadium.
Blimey, the only crepe you used to see at Upton Park was actually playing on the pitch in those days. Sorry.
Paul,
Sorry.
let's stay with you. Darren mentioned there 2008, the League Cup final, of course, the last trophy we won. I ask every single person who comes on this channel the same question: when are the trophies coming? Because they are way overdue. What is happening? And what have you made of Spurs over recent years? Because of course, Pochettino came very, very close in 2019 to winning the biggest prize of all. Of course, Jose Mourinho, 6 days before a final, he was sacked. What have you made of Tottenham over the last few years, and why haven't we quite got over that line?
Oh, right. Okay. So I think what happened, I don't even know where to start here. I think with the Champions League, when we got to the Champions League final, let's all remember that we weren't playing. If we were playing like we were maybe a year before then, I think that would have been ours. But unfortunately, when we got to that stage, as excited as we were, and that was the best trip, by the way, up until that first 23 minutes, which was just amazing. And the fan park, and we had all the ex-players there, and we did the stuff in the fan park. And then I had to do a speech talking about Spurs. I remember standing on the pitch with this guy, because there was me and this guy. I'm going off a little bit, but I hope you don't mind. But there was this guy. There was supposed to be me and the Liverpool guy. We're going to stand next to each other on the pitch before the game, and then we would talk about the club. But it turned out Liverpool didn't put anybody forward, so they had this other guy who worked for UEFA and was very smooth, and they would, ask me questions about, so Paul, tell me. And the question was, and I remember the whole stadium was packed, and there in my Spurs suit. I'd also got stuck in the traffic because the traffic was so bad. Do you remember? So I ran actually into the stadium, put my tie on. They gave me a microphone, and he said, so Paul, Spurs haven't won a trophy in Europe for over 30 years. How does that make you feel? I just felt like saying, wow. So I ended up having to come through this thing, go, well, let me tell you, the good times are back and blah, 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 blah. And I really believed that we'd really hit, and this was going to be it from now on. But we've had so many false dawns, haven't we? And I still can't believe that it's 1991 was the last time that we won the FA Cup. It's far too long. It's far too long. We're so overdue. We came very close. I think everybody will look back. I think there's mistakes that were made at the end of Pochettino, and I think there was bad luck as well. I think the fact that we moved to this new stadium, which is just the greatest place, but unfortunately it seemed to coincide with the best side that we'd had, and then we had to go out to Wembley. And then if we'd have stayed at White Hart Lane, I think we probably would have won the title the next year. That was just unfortunate. Then Kyle Walker went. Then different things started to conspire against us. We had Wembley. Then the team started to drift a little bit. And then when we got to the Champions League final, even though as great as Manchester City and Ajax was, we had the luck with us. There's no question about that. But we need to just get back to where we were. I mean, there's just a nervous thing amongst all Spurs fans that maybe we're going to slip too far back and it's going to be too long to get back. And I think we're not that far away. So to answer your question, we'll win the FA Cup this year. That's my answer, is the FA Cup this year. And I will take that and the top four with open arms.
Wow.
That's a long way of saying we'll win the FA Cup this year.
Kimberly, do you agree with that?
Well, what we're going to... Do you know what? I mean, I know everyone wants a trophy, but if you had to pick out the two, I would still go for the top four because the players we can attract... I know it's wrong. I know a lot of people are going to knock me for that because a lot of Spurs fans are just desperate for that trophy. But I would take top four over the FA Cup. I really would. And like, it's, it's like, we had that result at Leicester and... The Chelsea game, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? We just don't do very well in semi-finals, let's be perfectly honest. And I would take top four all day long over. Listen, it'd be great to have both. But coming back to something Paul just said, I think that he's very right about, like... Paul, you there?
Mm.
Oh, right. No, he's very right about like where he's saying where we was at with the Poch thing and that. And I just think that, I don't know, we've just got to, we did go through some tough times with it. We've just got to crack on now. And, we've got Conte now. We've got to it's hard to forget the Poch times, I think, because I still feel so fondly. I'm friendly with Jesus, by the way. He's my Twitter friend and I message him sometimes. He's a nice man. But we've got to... I'll never forgive the club, from my perspective, for not backing him. And I know that ain't your question, Chris, but that's how I feel. I think that's why the club don't really give me any time of day. But I'm not bothered. I am outspoken, you know. If there was any manager they should have backed, it should have been him. Don't you agree?
You know, that's exactly what I was going to come on to. And that's why I asked the question, because Antonio Conte now, bringing in a world-class manager like this, I was going to talk about the transfer window. Darren, let's come to you on this one. Talking about the transfer window, because do you think Antonio Conte was backed enough in the January transfer window? And what Paul said earlier, he believes that Spurs will go out and sign a number of players in the summer. What realistically do you think that Tottenham will do in the summer? Because surely Tottenham have to get it right this time.
Yeah, we really do have to get it right this time. And obviously, this is purely from my perspective and always trying to make it the positive perspective. And looking at what we did in that transfer window, a lot of the dead wood, bad energy and negative stuff were removed from that squad. And I think that was a massive thing to achieve. And I've said this before on here, and you know my thoughts on that. And I think what Conte would have liked, being the man that he is more. Conte, I think, as a human being, demands more. He demands more from the players, and he's going to demand more from the board. And I think what he got in this transfer window wasn't enough for him. And I think it's good, because I don't want that to be enough. I don't want the 2 signings in to be enough, because we can all see all the other problems. We know where we need to improve. And I think Conte is going to want the changes in the summer, because what we spoke about in terms of winning stuff, Conte wants to win. That's as simple as that. He's not come here to boost his PR or to kind of jump to his next job. He's come here because he can see a project where he can be successful. And he wants to be successful with his right-hand man, Paratici, there, and with the team that he wants, and he wants to win. He wants a league, he wants a trophy, he wants to compete. And I think the transfer window, the first time round, has had wins in other ways. And I think now the summer transfer window, the ins are going to be massively important. Conte needs to see the caliber of player that he wants, and also he's going to need the full backing. Levy can't do what he's done in the past and be involved. And I think this transfer window, we saw Paratici was really busy. He was away working, he was away making deals happen. And I think this summer, we need him to be in control, him and Conte to be working it, and we need Levy to be on a yacht, just signing checks, just sending the money. We're over the check day on his phone, direct, send the money. That's what we need Levy to be doing, because if he does that, I honestly believe, and we spoke about the luck that we haven't had. We spoke about being on the cusp of winning and it's not gone our way for X and Y, Z reasons. I honestly believe with the manager we have, the potential we have, we can definitely go and win something. We can. I know we've got teams like Man City that have a hold over certain cups. We've shown today that they're there to be beaten. We can do that. And a cup final is a one-off game. Just get to the final. It's a one-off game. If we turn up, we can do it. And I think, honestly, between now and Conte leaving, we're winning something. 100%. 100% we're winning something.
Paul, what do you think Antonio Conte is at Spurs for? And I've just remembered, I think the last time I saw you was earlier on in the season at the Emirates Stadium when we just lost to Arsenal. And I think we shared a look as if to say, what on earth did we just watch? You know, when you think about that under Nuno Espirito Santo, and you think about today's performance under Antonio Conte, within the matter of months, you know, beating the champions at the Etihad Stadium this evening, it's like chalk and cheese. But what realistically do you think Antonio Conte is here for? Because in my opinion, he's not here just to finish in the top 4. He wants to win things.
Of course he does. Yeah, of course he does. He sees a big club. This is a manager that's out of work, and he can pretty much pick and choose where he wants to go. There's no question about that. He can wait for any job, because if you had, top 3 managers in the world at the moment, he's going to be in there, surely. So he can pick and choose where he wants to go. Thank goodness he is chosen and sees, yes, Spurs. I'm sure he's getting a very nice paycheck, but he could get that anywhere also. Mm-hmm. He sees the potential in this club, and there's also, with any manager or with anybody in football, there's going to be an ego involved that I've done this before, but Spurs are this great sleeping giant. They haven't won the Premier League or the title since 1961. I am going to be the guy to do it. You know, I'm sure every manager has come in thinking that, but I don't think every manager has actually had the tools that are actually good enough to be able to do it. Now, that's probably what's on his mind. So he thinks, yep, there's a lot of money here. It's a big club, hasn't done anything. They want me. I think I can do this. But obviously he needs those tools, which are the players, to be able to do it. Now, we've had a very, very good result today. It's worked very, very well, but we are not going to win the title with that 11 players. That's not going to happen. We need more players to come in. And I'm not talking about 10 new players. I'm not even talking about 6. You know, there may even be less. 4 players, 4 good quality players. I'd love to see someone like James Ward-Prowse play at Spurs. Love to see someone like him come in. We could all have a shopping list that we could go through, but he needs more players. And I think everybody, he knows it, the club knows it, all the fans know it. And if we bring those in and just bring them in and they're the right players. The problem is before we've had the wrong players that have been coming in. Now, you can blame anybody you want to. You can say, well, you know, it's your fault because you brought the wrong player. They thought that they were bringing the right player in because wherever he was playing at the time was playing as good as, and thought this is going to fit in. But unfortunately, we've had too many that haven't. So we just need those right players that are going to fit in with us. And then I think we can go on. And why the hell not? He's there to win the title. He's not there just for a holiday. So I think he's, you know, I don't know when it's going to take. Might take 2 or 3 years, but we got very close before, and I think this time we absolutely can do it. So I'm with Darren on that.
What's the point there?
Yeah, go on, Kim.
Yeah, I'll get what you're saying, Paul, and you're spot on. But while we've got the transfer policy of leaving everything to the last bloody day, how are we ever going to do that?
See, we say... Yes, that seems to be the case, and I know it's happened before that we do seem to wait to the last minute.
We've never had a touch since Van der Vaart. Let's be perfectly honest. What have we had since Van der Vaart that was spectacular on the last day? Why don't we do business early like other clubs?
I was actually going to ask you that same point, Paul, because the last player that I was really excited about our signing was back in '94 when Clinton signed, because we were signing a real world-class player, not someone turning into a world-class player, but signing a world-class player at that time. And of course, Van der Vaart was close as well. When was the last time you were really excited about signing at Spurs? And realistically, in the summer, will we go out and sign world-class players?
See, I don't know. I don't know whether we will. I was, again, I think of Klinsmann, but something does possibly need to happen. The policy from looking on the outside and looking to see how it works is sign someone that looks like they've got great talent and great potential, and then we bring them into the club and then hopefully they kick on. But we haven't. I'm trying to think of the last time we signed someone that is a truly proven, especially in the Premier League as well. It just doesn't seem to be the policy. Now, whether it's been bad luck or whether it's bad judgment, that's not for me to say, but we know for a fact that we haven't had these great players that have come in. Whether they're prepared to pay that sort of money, because let's face it, if you want the best players, you've got to pay a hell of a lot of money. And also, like Kim says, we would like them to come in, so at least there's a pre-season in there before, and then everybody's ready at the start of the season to get going. You know, I'm not going to sit here and question transfer policy because I don't exactly know what transfer policy is. We all talk about it and go, well, obviously that's transfer policy. Is there a written down policy? I don't know. But we need players and we need good players and they need to fit in, and that's how we're going to succeed. But how the actual policy works, you know, your guess is
just Paul, going off the back of that, it's so difficult as well with Spurs, especially transfer-wise, because I know people get on Spurs' back about we don't sign good players or we sign players that haven't produced. I think the difference for this transfer window, for me, is going, what does Conte want? If it's the player that he wants, then I'm going to back that signing, because we have made big signings. Like if you think about Romero, as we spoke about earlier, he was the best defender in Serie A. That's what his package came as. His YouTube videos, the scouts report, he's the best defender in Serie A, and now he's at Tottenham. And sometimes we can make those big moves. And I think now, when we talk about the marquee signing, I don't know what signing is going to explode our minds to make Spurs fans happy. I don't think Ward-Prowse is the one that's going to make us all go and buy new shirts. This Bell talk of him coming back, I don't know if that's even going to do it. And I think, for me, I think now it's a case of, I want to see by the time you get into pre-season, and I totally agree with you, Kim, I totally back you. Let's get those players in early. Let's give our manager a fighting chance to start the season cooking. We start the season with players that are still breaking themselves in. Why are we doing that to ourselves? What is the point? Let's get them in. As soon as the transfer window's open, let's get busy. Let's try our best to give ourselves a fighting chance to start the season 38 games strong in the league. That every game matters, every game we're ready for, and let's go for it because we have something that we could really build on here, and let's see what we can do.
You can't let a manager like Conte go or down. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if we don't back him, he's going to walk at some point. Who wouldn't? You know, I would. He's got to. You know, we got a tour of Korea coming up now and everything. Like he needs these players in early. He needs to know. We just wait and ask about to the last minute. You know, we always have done. And I'm not knocking. Listen, leaving. I know they've done. And you know, we've got a great stadium, we've got a great training pitch, but what we want as fans is a good bloody team. Do you know what I mean? And we want to see trophies, we want to win things. We don't want to be like dilly-dallying about to the last 2 hours of a transfer window. Where's that going to get us? Do you know what I mean? And it's not like we're even like, as I said, Van der Vaart was the last sort of marquee signing. We've had nobody since. We've just lost out and someone signed for Chelsea and flown over to, we paid the fare and it's been all that crap, hasn't it? You know, so a bit like this time with the little guy that went to Liverpool. You know, Conte obviously wanted him and we dilly-dallied, asked about hoping to get him for £1 million cheaper on the lot and we ain't got him.
Kim, for you, what's the definition of backing Conte in the summer?
To go out and get his players early. For him to make that list and him to, it depends, as I said, Chris, it depends where we finish and who we're going to attract, who else is going to come in for him. You know, that's why I said, I know all Spurs fans want the FA Cup and want the trophy, but for me, with Conte as a manager especially, I'd rather get the top four to get these players in that we can attract and to have another run. There's nothing like the Champions League to have, you know, I'm grateful to have experienced it and the wonderful games and the wonderful nights at the old, you know, White Hart Lane and everything that we had. But and like Ajax away, are you ever going to, that's one of the best games of my life. You know, it's not going to be repeated really in the Conference League, is it? So for me, top four, but they've got to get the players in early for him.
Can I ask you, Kim, if you had the choice then that maybe we could get the FA Cup monkey off our back if we won the FA Cup this year and then Champions League next year, would you take that? Or you'd still sacrifice the FA Cup and go for the Champions League?
Yeah, I would, yeah. All day long. For the pure fact that we've got Conte as a manager, I want him to stay. He's one of the best managers in the world. You're not going to beat that. I mean, if he walks, if we don't get, and then he don't get backed, and there's obviously the excuse of, we can't attract those players because we're not in the Champions League. Where does that leave us? What's he going to do next, Levy? Ring up Poch? And is Poch going to come back? He never got backed in the first place.
I think, though, from your question there, Paul, if we won the FA Cup this season, I think that would absolutely satisfy Conte with what he's got at his disposal right now. And I think with that win, it would absolutely motivate Tottenham in the transfer market to go, with what you gave me, this is what I can achieve. Give me more, and I can give you more than top four. Rather than just aiming for top four, I can potentially push for the league. Give me that. And I think I would sacrifice fourth place for the FA Cup. If we finish fifth, still in the Europa, whatever, that madness. But if that winning mentality started to bed in to the players we've got, skip being a winner suddenly. Looking at players like that going, I've won something. We're in a team that is winning. I think that mentality around our squad is really needed right now.
Yeah, the weird thing is that I wonder whether winning the FA Cup still feels the same as it did the last time we won it. Because I remember it, but I don't know whether it will feel the same, whether we will have that jubilation, that fantastic feeling of that lifting the cup, whether it will feel the same as when Gary Mabbutt did it. Because I think the FA Cup is a lot different now than what it was last time.
I think if we finish top four as well, it would. But
we'll have both. How about we'll have a deal and we'll have both. We'll have the FA Cup and we'll have top four. Then I'll be happy.
It's still a major trophy though, Paul. And
it is.
I'm surprised
of course it is.
Don't you want to see that coach with Harry Kane and Hugo Lloris, going down the high road, lifting that trophy? It would be incredible.
Yeah, but would that still happen? Will we still do the? I think we would. We still do the bus tour.
Sure.
You know, the bus will and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know that'd be great. You know what? I was also that was the other thing with the Champions League. I was told I was all ready for that, and because everything had to be planned. You know, you have to plan to have the bus and everything, and it's all got to be booked beforehand. So, yeah, it'd be great. I mean, I want to see us lift silverware. Of course, I really want to see that. But the only thing I'm asking is, because it's been so long, what is it going to feel? I can't remember what it feels like. I mean, like Kim there was talking about 81, and I queued up in the rain when I was a kid. And it's one of my favourite Spurs memories is actually queuing up outside Wembley, because they said when the game was on that it's going to be the People's Cup final, the replay, and then people can actually, if you don't have a season ticket, and we didn't, me and my dad would just go every now and again. And so he took me and we queued up for like 3 or 4 hours. Cold rain there and waiting outside Wembley. And I can still see going up to the turnstile and being given that ticket and holding that ticket for the FA Cup. And honestly, it was like Willy Wonka. It was, because it was the holding that ticket was one of my favourite footballing memories, thinking this is the first time I've ever been to Wembley and we're going to a cup final. And that 81, which was just unbelievable. So if it's even like a tenth of how that felt, then I'll have some of it and we'll win the cup again, please.
Paul, let's just stay with you. Roy writes on screen now, it's paramount we keep Antonio Conte. How confident are you that Antonio Conte will be Tottenham Hotspur boss next season? Because, of course, he come in, signed an 18-month contract. You know, he'll have a year left on his contract in the summer. Does it matter where Spurs finish in the league? Do you think he's still going to be Spurs manager next year?
Yeah, I don't think it does matter, because I think it won't make a difference on him. I think it makes a difference on how he is backed, and if he's got feels that he's got the support of what's going on behind the scenes, then everything's going to be fine, because basically whatever goes on with the team really is going to be on his watch. So that's down to him. So I don't think he's going to, maybe if it doesn't go as well and maybe we do finish 8th or 9th or whatever, we won't, but should it happen, that he will walk, I don't think he will want that on his CV. I was thinking about this recently and thinking, well, if it really is a disaster, would he rather walk than be fired? He's not going to be sacked, because we can't do that. I mean, I can't believe I'm even talking about this now, or the fact that we're mentioning it. But yes, I do think he will be there in a year, Chris. You know, I feel, of course, we'll feel much more confident and comfortable after what we've just seen. But yeah, he'll be there. He will be there. And
I just think when you've got a world-class manager at the club, you want to keep him from as long as possible.
Of course you want to keep him. Of course you. Yeah. I mean, I think Mourinho was different. I mean, it was a different situation. He was a manager of a certain time. And I think his sell-by date has run out. Conte, bang in the middle of his halcyon years. And that's why we've got to make the most of him being there, because he's the guy that we want.
We've got to appreciate him and back him. We're lucky to have him.
Yeah. Lastly, let's talk about our next Premier League game, Burnley away on Wednesday. Of course, rearranged fixture. They had, up until today, only one game in the Premier League all season, and then they won 3-0 away at Brighton. Kim, let's start with you. Burnley away on Wednesday. How do you see that game going?
Well, when I saw that result today, I thought, oh dear. You know, and I thought obviously it was going to be a cricket score against us. But do you know what? If we can't go out there and pull a little something out the hat now, do you know what I mean? But as someone said earlier, it is like, it's a cold night. We're Burnley away. It's midweek. You know, it's Spurs for you, isn't it? I mean, it would be, as I said, first when I come on here, it'd be typical now we went and lost at Burnley. And I don't want to be like, obviously, I'm still buzzing over the day, but that is us. This is what this club does to you. And it is. Let's not beat about the bush. You know, we've come away like from a win with Man City, but we'll go up there and probably, I don't know. Let's see what happens Wednesday. But I wouldn't bet me house on it, would you, that we'll get anything up there?
Yeah, but you know that with Burnley though, because what they would have done is if they hadn't won 3-0, they would have sat back and then we'd have that old thing where we're trying to break through. Now they've scored 3, they think they're Brazil. They're going to come out and start spraying the ball all over the place. So we'll be great. So it's going to work perfectly for us.
You got more confidence than me.
Do you know though, Kim, when you've got Antonio Conte as your boss, don't you think that some of these things, they've got to change at some point? It has to change at some point. Isn't this going to be our point that it changes?
What, the transfer window?
No, things like beating Manchester City away and then going to Burnley and losing. It doesn't.
Well, I don't know. It didn't change after the Leicester game. We went to Chelsea and never showed up, did we? Do you know what I thought? That was a turning point when them late 2 goals at Leicester, and it was like we were scared to even. It was like we were scared. I mean, that was the one thing I was really glad about today. I know they had a lot of position, but from the moment we started, breaking, we never looked scared of them, even though I thought we defended well. I really did. And we just didn't look scared. I thought, especially after the last 2 results, I thought oh God, we all dreaded it, I think, let's be honest, but we didn't look scared. We looked like we had a game plan. So let's hope we go up there in the week with a game plan.
Kim, when you think of our next 3 games, Burnley away, Leeds away, and then Middlesbrough away in the FA Cup, are you confident for these 3 games? And give me a prediction for the Burnley away game.
A draw.
Wow.
I reckon it'd be a draw, 1-1 or something. But listen, I was 3 points.
Come
and then
on,
we've got
Kim. Come on.
Then
I'm glad you
Everton.
did that.
Listen, I'm always glad. Listen, I've watched Spurs too many years. Since I'm older than 2 of yous on here. I've watched Spurs too many years. You can't be, when you've watched them since 1970, I'm glass half empty rather than full. I can't help it. It's just the way I am. I was a nightmare to sit next to as the season to get older. My mates, I drove them mad. But I love the club. I mean, when you love something, your passion. It's just. But I mean, they've let me down so many times in the past. No more than the Champions League final. I've never been out to watch that back. And I couldn't believe we'd done all that to get there, and then we didn't turn up, really. But I know we was unlucky, but it is what it is. But let's just see. I hope, Chris, let's be positive for once and have glass half full. After that, we've got Everton at home. I expect 3 wins, 9 out of 9 points in that, and obviously a win against Middlesbrough as well. So here we go. I'm being positive. This is the positive Kimberly Chambers.
That glass filled up very quickly.
There you go. Hey, Kim, how did that feel?
It felt good.
There you go.
But in the week, I'll be messaging you, Chris.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it. I'm sorry.
I'm changing my number. Quick, change it.
Darren, how are you feeling about the Burnley game?
Listen, I'm on a buzz right now, so I'm staying in that zone. We're going to go there and we're going to absolutely turn up. I'm going to call the man now. Bentancur's going to have a worldie. He's going to be dictating the centre of that park. We're going to look like a team that has a plan, and we're going to take the point. I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1. We like to gift a goal now on our travels, so I'm going to go 3-1.
Paul, I spoke to you earlier off air about this. For someone who's worked at the club for so long, some of our really bad periods that we've had, but someone like you in the job that you've had, you always need to be positive. How is it always trying to be positive when we've had some real low moments over the years?
I'll tell you, it's really, really easy to answer. When it was half time and people would say, look, we're losing 3-0 and it's pouring with rain and it's a Wednesday night, and you go out there and you see all positive and try and I said, listen, I've been a Spurs fan since I was a little boy, and to go out and stand there and be able to do the job that I was doing and be able to look around, how could I not enjoy it and make the most of it? So there was something within me, and I thought, and there's also something that thinks now, okay, look, if everybody's feeling bad, this is my job. Come on. And it wasn't faking it, and it wasn't just going out, because I absolutely love it. So to go out there and do that, even if it's wet and it's horrible, I'm still doing something ridiculous, which I dream of doing. So that's how easy it is. So I could never go out there and go, oh, God, it's not going to be very good. If there'd been a bad goal, I might raise my eyebrow. You'd know what I was thinking. But no, it's just the best job. So it was easy, very easy.
Paul, how are you feeling about the Burnley game? Are we going to win?
No, I think we're probably going to lose 3-0, actually. It was 2-0. We're going to win it 2-0. Yeah, I'm very happy. Very happy. 2-0. We're going to win that without a doubt. I've never said this before, but this is the turning point. Do you reckon I've ever said that before about Tottenham Hotspur? This is it now. We can do this. Yeah, you're right there, Darren. So, yeah, I think we're going to win 2-0.
I've got 2 last questions for you all. Paul, let's start with you. Yeah. Will Antonio Conte win a trophy at Spurs, yes or no? Yes. And where will we finish in the league this season?
5th.
Yes,
FA
and fifth.
Cup. Actually, you know what? I was saying fifth before the game. I'm going to go fourth. I've got a Talk Sport, my producer, who's a Leicester fan, and he's always going, look, I really think you're going to finish fourth. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't see it. Now I'm beginning to, if we just got to get a run, if we just put a run together. So why the hell should I actually say anything different? So I'm going to say, yes, we will win the FA Cup and we will finish fourth this season, Chris. But if it
What
gets
about you,
bad...
Kim?
I'm going to say yes as well. I think, well, if he can't do it, who can? We might as well give up, mightn't we, after appointing him. And fourth, I'm going fourth.
Wow, we are finishing on a positive. Darren, what about you?
Come on, Darren, we're going to win the title this year.
Listen, I'm just so happy that Kim, you have had your glass is now full.
Yeah.
So never tell me about this.
Overflowing.
It's being around you three positive men, you know. All a woman needs is three positive men around her, and her whole thinking changes.
We just filled that cup for you right there. Beautiful thing. Beautiful. You know where I'm going with this, Chris. I'm going for the trophy. I'm going for a cup, absolutely. And I've said it before. We're finishing fourth. It's ours to grab. The trophies are to grab. And when we win the trophy, Chris, we're all coming to yours. We're all coming to yours.
My God, it's just been so long. So long. I can't thank you all enough for your time this evening. Paul, thanks so much for coming on. I know you've made your debut today, and what a time to do it, winning 3-2 at the Etihad. Please tell everyone where they can find you on social media if they didn't know you already.
Yeah, at COYT, C-O-Y. How do I spell my name? C-O-Y-T-E-Y on Twitter, or COYT67 on Instagram, or on TalkSport very early in the morning every day.
Thank you very much, Paul. And Darren, tell everyone about your latest film again, just released on Netflix.
Yep, so Pirates is out on Netflix. It's a fun, feel-good movie all about Millennium Night and the garage scene. So if you're into all of that, it's a great movie to watch. It's a lot of fun. So if you enjoyed the game today and you still want to keep smiling, pop it on. It's worth it.
I'm going to watch
Thanks,
that.
Darren. And Kim, thanks so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and tell everyone where they can find you and your latest books.
I've got The Family Man came out in September. I got to number 2 on the Sunday Times bestseller. Richard Osman beat me, but he's very famous, so I can't knock that. It comes out in paperback on the 3rd of March. Kimbo Chambers on Twitter. I've got an official Facebook page, Kimberly Chambers. And also I'm on Instagram as, I think, Kimberly.Chambers. So, yeah, the paperback, The Family Man, comes out 3rd of March. And, yeah, come on, you Spurs. But I've really enjoyed coming on here, Chris. I'd love to do it again.
Thank you. And I hope you bring these 3-4 wins every time.
It's been brilliant.
I never want to come on again, by the way. This is absolutely the last time. So, because I'm on the Arsenal podcast next week. I'm looking for a new club. So we'll see.
Oh, you've got to meet me
I'm
as
kidding.
well. Come on. I mean, there is always sunshine. You've got to meet me finally, because you don't remember me from the club, do you? So
I do. I do now. You said about Glyn. Of course I do.
He don't.
But you're so far. Oh, God, let's not get into this now. Of course I do.
I love you both.
Well, we're ending on a positive. Paul, Darren,
I'm off to the Odeon to see Pirates now. That's what I'm going to do.
Thanks so much for your time, and let's hope that Tottenham can continue this winning run against Burnley on Wednesday night and climb up that Premier League table and get that top 4 finish and win the FA Cup. Thanks for watching, everyone. Till the next video.
Cheers,
Come on,
guys.